Big City B. I'm B for those of you who are just joining me for the first time. If you're new here, I'd really appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button and bell notification so you know when my next videos are going to come out. Alrighty, let's get started. Today's book review is going to be The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. The genre for this book is going to be magical realism, and there is a trigger warning in this book, so make sure you check out the description down below. Here's your summary. Between life and death, there is a library, and within that library, the shelves go on forever. Every book provides another chance for a life you could have lived. Your characters for this book: for track 1, we have Nora Seed and Mrs. Elm. For track 2, we have Ash, Dan, and Hugo. Jumping into things that I liked about this book. The first thing that I liked about this book was the library, of course. How freaking cool is this concept of being able to go to a library and just try different lives that you could have lived if you had made a different decision in your life. Like I said in my February wrap-up, I really enjoyed thinking about the butterfly effect and how my life could have potentially been different if I had made different choices. What if I had decided to go to UCLA instead of NYU? What if I had decided to move back to Nebraska after leaving NYU? What if I decided I wasn't going to prove the boy in first grade wrong that I could never act? All of these things just make me think about how my life could have been different, and I really love that concept in books. The second thing that I liked about this book is Nora's growth throughout this book. I don't want to give any spoilers away, so I'm going to try to keep this as spoiler-free as possible, but Nora goes through a large growth over the course of this book, and I think it's really important not only for Nora but for all of us to keep in mind, and I felt like Nora's growth in the book was really relatable. And even if you are happy in most aspects of your life, I think there are still life lessons and reminders that you can take away from Nora's journey within this book. The things that I didn't like about this book, only one thing, but there are only so many lives you can see someone live in with not a whole lot of changes before you start to get bored. And Matt was bordering on this becoming too much, seeing too many lives and becoming too bored. Luckily, he stopped it at the right point, but I could feel myself going, okay, how many more lives are we gonna see? It's starting to become repetitive. But that's the line you have to toe when you're writing a book about how many different lives you could have lived if you made different choices. So that's everything that I liked and didn't like within this book without going into spoilers. And for this review, I didn't really want to go into spoilers. So another thing that I would like to think about when reviewing this book is, for once, I am reading a book when it's semi-close to being new. I know this was in the Goodreads top of 2020 list. So this book came out in August of 2020 and I read it in February of 2021. So that's not that far of a wait, which is really good for me because usually my library does not get new releases in, so I can't read new releases. I was so excited to be able to read this and review it in a timely manner where it's still more relevant than it would be if I'd read it 2 years later. Alrighty, let's go on to Goodreads takes. So Goodreads gave this book a 4.19. The things that Goodreads liked about this book was that they liked Matt Haig's writing. They thought his writing was very clean, clever, and strong. They also liked that the story felt deep and meaningful, and it made them reflect differently on their regrets in their life. Flip side to that, the people who didn't like this book didn't like the no regrets aspect of the book because they felt like regrets were important to have in your life. And I think I understand where they were going with this. yes, you need to make mistakes in your life and to experience things, but I think the whole idea of having no regrets is not that you don't have any disappointments or heartaches or loneliness in your life, but that you embrace them and you let it go. It's not affecting you anymore, which is what I think Matt's intention was in this book. The second thing that they didn't like
was they felt like Nora's enlightenment was too typical. They already knew all the things that Nora was learning.
Okay, great. That means you're not in a depressive state and you don't have anxiety and things are going well for you. Good job. But that doesn't mean that that's the case for everyone else and that you shouldn't be sympathetic to people who aren't getting these things that seem so common sense to you because it's more difficult for them. Okay? So just, chill out. It's okay if people are coming to realize things that you may already realize at a later stage in life. I did not like this criticism. The third and final thing that Goodreads didn't like about this book is that they felt like this book was too much like a self-help book. And while I do think that there are a lot of aspects of embracing your life, not having so many regrets, I don't think it's shoved in your face as much as a self-help book is. Also, this one is based in magical realism. So that's kind of the opposite of a self-help book, which is only based in realism. And I think this story was more about finding your path in life than like having an ideology shoved at you. Quote number 1, sometimes the only way to learn is to live. I like this quote because for me as an actor, it just resonates a lot because as an actor, there are a lot of things that you need to live and learn through doing in order to accurately portray them as characters. And I think that this just really can resonate with a lot of people where you can't pretend like you've had heartbreak until you've lived through the heartbreak. You can't pretend to be happy until you've experienced happiness. It just, a lot of those things you can't explain or put on until you've actually lived and learned them. Quote number 2, sometimes regrets are just a load of bullshit. I like this one. One, because it comes from Mrs. Elm, who is like the elderly librarian, so me picturing her saying this in my head just made me laugh out loud. But it's true. Sometimes the regrets that you're holding on to are just, they're just bullshit. It doesn't really freaking matter. And you just need to work through the bullshit and just let it go. Make it so that it's not affecting you in your day-to-day life anymore. Quote number 3, it's easy to mourn the lives we aren't living. It's the regret that makes us shrivel and wither. This quote I liked because I just think it's a good reminder. It's so easy to get down on yourself and to nitpick at the things that you didn't do in your life and to regret the choices that you didn't make. And that makes you less of a person than if you were to fully embrace all of your experiences and move forward and just be the fullest version of yourself that you can be. Lastly, would I recommend this book? Yes, I think it's a great reminder that your life is not full of negatives and that there are more possibilities in your life than dead ends. If you are still living, then there is still possibility to change and to do something else. It doesn't mean that once you hit 30 or 40 that your life is over and that you can't change anything if you're not happy with it. And I think that's really important because I think in our society, especially for women, once you turn 30, your life is over, there's nothing new you can do, you are no longer valuable, and I hate that. I think that you should continue to grow and feel confident in yourself and strong and worthy in everything that you do, and that's for everyone. That's not just for women. You should just feel comfortable in yourself and assertive and like you can do anything because you can do anything. And this book is a great reminder of that you don't have to dwell on your mistakes and your regrets in life, that you can focus on being present and now and go forward in your life. It's also a great reminder that you are making differences in people's lives, even if you don't think you are. The smallest task that you do for someone, maybe it's saying hello to someone every morning, you don't know what kind of impact that's having on someone else's life. Maybe they're having a really, really crappy day, and you saying hello to them every day is making their day. Or I try to do when it's not a chaotic time like it is currently. I try to give compliments to people on the subways, and I'll say, "Oh, I like your hair. I like your shirt. Have a good day." And I try to bring that happiness into people's lives, because you never know what people are going through and what kind of impact that can have on them. So I just want everyone out there to remember that you are important and you are making a difference in someone's lives, no matter how big or small you think that impact is. Alrighty everyone, that's all I have for you today. Let me know down in the comments below what's something nice you have done for someone else today. If you like this video, I'd really appreciate it if you would hit that like button and consider subscribing if you're not already. I'll see you all next time. All the best always. Bye.